when I talked about psychedelics in the past, it just kind of happened and I was doing it. There was a lot going on and I received a lot of benefit. A lot of it was for exploration of my consciousness and to grasp for some level of healing, but not exactly looking at it in a systematic way where I'm using it for a very specific purpose and I'm looking for something specific from the intervention, if that makes any sense. I was pretty lost. I was confused. I was going through recovery in many ways. I was at rock bottom when I started, which I realized as I started recording this, that it's been nearly 6 years since I started using psychedelics in my life, which also means it's been almost 6 years since I was going through cancer treatment. And that's wild. I cannot believe that it's been 6 years of my life turning around after being in the depths of utter despair for so long. At the beginning, I was just trying to get out from rock bottom and I had nothing to lose. I was in one of the worst periods of my life where I simultaneously was going through cancer treatment and also kind of wishing that cancer would kill me. It's a very, very bizarre experience to have your primal survival instinct kick in for something like cancer treatment while being so mentally ill and traumatized and sick that your body just wants you to die from the illness that you're fighting, because it would be a reprieve and liberation from how much pain you're in. That's a very strange paradox to experience. And that was a formative experience in my life. I started off really lost, confused, just kind of doing stuff. And I had incredible, wild experiences, horrible experiences, but it were all therapeutically net beneficial to me. Hence why I've continued since then. But it wasn't super intentional because I didn't have the wherewithal or even grasp, frankly, on my mental illnesses, on the way that my OCD worked, my PTSD, my depression. I didn't have insight. I was so lost and I was not in proper treatment. And I was just existing with this anguish without understanding what it was and what I could do to engage with it and interact with it, whether I'm on a trip or harnessing the benefits of psychedelic induced plasticity after the fact and all of the biological changes that it helps facilitate in your brain to be able to then take advantage of better forms of thinking and action and all the things that we learn in different therapies and treatments that I engage in. So it was very not intentional. I don't regret it at all. It's what has helped get me here. My psychedelic use has lately to a T overlaid and overlapped over my general upward spiral after being at the worst possible part of my life. It provided me support that nothing else could have provided me at that time. Of course, as a scientist, I know that there are many other variables that went into it, including my cancer treatment and getting more comprehensive care for my other illnesses, and then eventually accessing proper treatment for OCD and PTSD and blah, blah, blah. And then building up on that action and going back to school and then getting more treatment and practicing my skills and continued use of psychedelics through that helps push me forward in that way, for sure. By no means am I claiming that psychedelics are what saved my life, but they have played a huge role. And I cannot emphasize that enough because I obviously talk so much about the other aspects of my life that have helped me to move forward and the tools and the techniques, but psychedelics have completely overlaid all of that, have played a massive role. And biologically, psychologically, socially, everything they've done for me has overlaid everything I've accomplished, every milestone I've made. My life completely turned around from a whole host of reasons. And they are a very substantial part of that and continue to be a tool that sustains me, keeps me alive, continues to help me grow. I feel no regret about the way I approached psychedelics when I was helpless and confused and at the brink of death 6 years ago, and everything I did up to the time I recorded that past episode. With that, the very recent insights I had gotten from ketamine have now integrated into the broader way in which I see psychedelics and the role they play in my life and how I utilize them with a different level of intention and care and expectation of what they will versus what they won't do for me. With that, let's get into what the last 3 years have looked like.